It's McGolf's Fitting Friday, and we're going to talk about length and figure out why it's good for you. Welcome back to McGolf Shop, and on Tuesday we talked about what is golf club length and how to measure it and how people and the different types of tools that you use. Well, now we're talking about what is the proper length for you. Okay, so what does the length of a golf club do for you? It puts you into the right posture every single time when you have your clubs, whether it be a putter or driver or irons. It allows you to make consistent hits most of the time. It also removes some pain in your swing if you're really out of whack, either being too long or too short. I have to apologize because it's kind of a fitting Friday, actually Saturday, because I had a friend that needed some help. He had a family emergency, so I worked late for him that night. And when I got done, we had the net problems on the range. So when it was all said and done, I was pretty much beat. And so you get it today. And but we'll be right back into it on the next time. Here's how we did this. I had a customer come in from Kentucky. His name is Matthew. And much like a lot of folks, they say, well, I've got this set of clubs. Can you fit them to me? And I say, well, let's try. And this ended up being one of those things that where, you know, a lot of times you have to do a lot of changing on it, and then there's buyer remorse, and that's what we try to prevent. In this particular instance, he got an extraordinarily good deal. Apparently Callaway upgraded him into some steel heads, and they had the lightweight shafts, and so we took him into the fitting room. After we spec'd the initial clubs, we found, you know, they're probably a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch too long. And in describing what he was doing, because, you know, he's got the golf bug real bad and took some lessons, which is a really great thing to do. And all of a sudden, the ball flight started changing. Well, the ball flight started changing mostly because the equipment wasn't correct. So we went in there and did a length test and found out that sure enough he needed a club that was only a half of an inch shorter. But that half of an inch shorter got him well over 10 yards. Now there's a lot that goes into that, and we'll check this out. But I'm going to take you into my fitting shop and I'm going to show you what we went through here and the reason why it did that. But length can do that for you. So it puts you in the right posture for every one of your clubs so that you do make consistent contact and hopefully in the better part of the club, and then you get the most out of your golf club. So let's go in there, we'll take a real quick look, and then we'll call this done. Okay, so what we did is I did a length test for him, and this was the first one, second one, and then that one was the third one. And what he was doing, he was choking down, and about an inch almost. And so he came up with these numbers. So in watching that wasn't too hard to figure out why he was hitting that one the best if you're choking down about an inch. So I said, do you want to choke down, or do you want to hit at the end of the club? After a little bit of discussion, it was, let's hit it at the end of the club. And the reason being is when you choke down, if you're not particularly careful each and every time, then you can get into different lengths. And when you do that, it becomes different striking. So when we did that, the 37.5 inch club all of a sudden went 10 yards better than the other club that he was choking down on. The other part is that he was significantly straighter. Okay, still off to the right a little bit, but way straighter than all of that. So, and what happened? Well, you know, he's between 84 and 85, but the quality of hit just went way up, meaning he got the middle of the club face, and he did it consistently, and that's the reason why it got up there. Well, now we go into his club, which was, I got a club that was very comparable in loft, which was, it's only 1 degree apart, so it shouldn't be too terrific of a distance change. However, the difference in the shaft, the technology that was in the club head, the fact that he was used to it, once we had him in the right length, all of a sudden he's creaming it. He's almost another 10 yards, and he's definitely 11 yards and significantly straighter. And he's doing it swinging just a hair slower, but the smash factor or quality of hit is just absolutely killing it. Okay, killing it. And you're like, well, how did he do all that? Well, here's how it looks. Okay, you see how you only see about one line? Well, that's because he hit them all pretty doggone straight. There's a good spot for you. See how that, he just landed them all there. There was just no way we weren't gonna use that. So if you wanted to see where it really grouped at, these, if you look at the blue one, that was the 37, the original 37.5. This was the original 38. That was the 38 after not choking down. This was the 38.5. No, that was 38.5. And then this was the 37.5, not choking down. And then this was his club, and it's hard to beat that. All right, so that's what length does. Once you get into the right spot, you hit a little bit better, it goes a little bit further, and it goes where you want, unless you have some sort of swing thing. But we're just purely talking about length. Same goes with the driver, same goes with the putter, same goes with the wedges. So it's very, very, very important that you have your clubs tested for length. In irons, for if you're average height guy, chances are the irons are going to be pretty good. So what does all that mean? Well, what it means is that you should be tested for length. Now, on a hole, the drivers are a bit long, all right, even for average golfer guy. You look out on the tour, and the lengths of those clubs that they're using, you hear between 44.5 and 44 and 3/4 inch. Not 45.5 like we do, because what the bigger club companies do is they play to the golfer ego. So when you get out there onto the course and you get into the clubhouse and you hear, or you yourself start talking about that one that you hit really good on 12, but you don't talk about the rest. That's the problem, right? When we do this here, when we do our fittings here, I want you talking about, man, look at all those fairways I hit. All right, I don't want you hitting just one, I want you hitting a bunch. And that's the reason why we do that test for length. And when you get the middle of club face, your control comes in. When your control comes in, your confidence goes up. When your confidence goes up, you have much more a confident swing, right? A better swing. It's freer and it goes through there. So that's the reason why that's all important. So again, if if you're struggling and you say, man, I'm not really all that consistent, it could be because of the length of the club. So check that out, okay? So if you really liked what you saw, how about you subscribe? And how about a like down on the bottom? And that way you'll know more when the Fitting Fridays come. So let's see your scores. Go low.